On June 15th, Natasha, Narwal, Devangana, Kalita, and Asif Iqbal Tanha walked out of jail after more than a year of being incarcerated. Natasha and Devangana were arrested last year in May, and the lower courts have rejected their bail plea continuously because they were arrested under and charged under the stringent UAPA. It's been close to 2 weeks since the three of them have walked out of Tihar jail. Last week, we interviewed Asif. You can find his interview on our website as well as YouTube. And today, we have with us Devangana and Natasha. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us, Natasha and Devangana. So, Natasha, on the day that you were called for questioning finally by the Delhi police, and you walked into that room and you sat down there, and you had all these questions being thrown at you. You're surrounded by the Delhi police. Can you tell me a little bit about what was going through your mind? Did you have any sinking feeling that it was going to happen now? Like, what was happening?
Yeah, actually, the special cell had come to our house for questioning. So that was also what kind of gave us the feeling that, okay, it might happen today. But the questioning in itself was like not too, I would say, grilling. They were just asking more generalized questions in that. So, and after that, there was this kind of silence that, what is going to happen next. And then suddenly we see the Jafarabad police coming into our house at around 5:30, and that was actually quite confusing. That, like, where is this coming from? We had just been investigated by the special cell, and we had no contact with the Jafarabad police prior to that. And they just came in and said that we are arresting you.
Often in jail, you see other things also, like, especially in your initial days, if you for no reason at all or for very little things, the staff will abuse you, they will slap you or turn your hand. And often people have no clue that, actually in judicial custody, this is not supposed to happen to you. That when, the staff is not allowed to use violence against you. And people
did it happen with y'all at any point at all? Like, did y'all have to protect yourself from it at any point?
I mean, not to us particularly. I think because of the kind of attention our case had and the kind of legal and media support we had, we did not have to face any physical violence. But we, of course, were witness to this kind of, as Devangana was saying, this kind of regular abuse of power by this administration. And also we not, in a sense, did not witness it, but we were there inside the isolation ward when there's this very brutal incident of violence happened inside jail where...
I also want to talk about the community of friends you had outside. And then with Safura leaving prison, and then now you're leaving and Gulfisha still remaining there, what sort of process has all these sort of different kind of friendships gone through? And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, that is, I think, one of the most difficult things, to leave a friend behind. It's like I really am struggling for words right now to describe that feeling, and especially the way the Rihai happened. It was a very painful parting. Like I don't know if you have read already in some of the interviews that how they locked up the entire jail for our release. They just did not let us even say a proper goodbye to either Gulfisha or all the other friends we had made and all the children who we had been very close to, and they had filled our lives with so much love and joy. So it is a very, very difficult thing to leave friends behind.
Devangana, I saw in one of the letters that you'd written from prison, and I quote you when I say, you said that, let me just go to that. Yeah. So you say a woman's life under patriarchy is a training, for being in jail. And then you go on to compare the fight you fought in the hostels and then being in jail.
In jail, you are in judicial custody. So when I say something to the judge when I write applications to the DG prisons or to the superintendent, by law, they are required to respond to us. Whereas that kind of an accountability we found very difficult to get during our struggles in the university space, because there was no legally binding, like, provision like that. So I think I meant it in that sense. But yeah, that is something which you come to realize, that the prison, of course, is a very exceptional and brutal space, but it is also an intensified form of the Pinjras which exist in the outside world.
If the both of you were to find yourself in a room with Kapil Mishra, right, what would you say to him today after the 1 year that you've had?
I hope we never find ourselves in a room with Kapil Mishra, but since the matter is sub judice, so we won't be able to say much around that. But I think I would like to reiterate which this Hindu woman whom we had met in prison from that area had said. She had said to us कि हमें पता है आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया है, हमें ठीक से पता है कि किसने दंगे करवाए थे. And you can imagine what names that she took.
What are the challenges that a woman protester ends up facing?
So I think for us, let's say for a young women student, I think the first, in various cases, one of the very strong challenges that you face is actually within the family itself. We know that when this kind of attack on this and this spate of arrests were happening, how difficult it was for a lot of the young women students, especially during the period of lockdown, because they had gone back home to negotiate with their families, because it was like, oh, तुम्हारी दोस्त arrest हो गए, तुम भी ऐसा करती हो क्या, कभी तुमको घर वापस नहीं, मतलब दिल्ली वापस नहीं जाने देंगे to continue your studies.
How deeply entrenched should a student become in politics? Because what's happened to you is the nightmare of most parents, right? And that's why then they tell their children, don't get involved in politics, just focus on your studies.
Well, to that, I guess we would like to say that, there is no escape. Even if you don't get involved in politics or whatever, in certain kind of struggles,
sometimes just even your identity is enough for you to get picked up. You don't need to be even protesting.